Feels weird. My husband's watching a show downstairs and I heard him pause it, and so I feel like he's listening to me now.
Yeah, we were wild and free, and you know everything about me. So wild and free, and you know everything about me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wren and I'm on a journey to lose 150 pounds. If you're not new here, then maybe you're like, hey Wren, where the hell have you been? Did not mean to rhyme there. I'm still here and I'm still alive and kicking, barely. In this video, I'll be going over how I've been off track for a little while here, and I know I needed to make a video and address this with you guys. I've tried to sit down and film this video a couple times, and it's just so overwhelming, and I didn't know how to do it or where to start. So I thought, what better way than to just do an old school YouTube tag? This one doesn't exist, so I actually had to make it myself. It is the Getting Back on Track, the Weight Loss Journey, Getting Back on Track tag. I don't know. You guys let me know if you have a better name for it. It's different than a usual tag because normally you would tag other creators to make their own videos like this, but the nature of this being off track on your weight loss or health journey is something that usually is people are doing in secret. People aren't like, hey guys, I'm off track today. Woohoo! Seems like it'd be a little rude to tag someone in a getting back on track tag, you know, if they've not like publicly said, I'm off track right now, you know what I mean? But I did write this in a way that will help two kinds of people. One, if you are just on your own weight loss journey and you're off track, you can sit and go over these questions with yourself or with like your accountability partner or person. Maybe it'll help you to continue on your journey. Nala, no. No, Nala. She's never seen a lit candle. Nalsies. I might have to blow that out just a second. It's not good for kitties. Okay. Oh my goodness. What is that smoke? Okay, kitty is safe. So I was saying, what was I saying? So yes, I made this tag / quiz for myself and for you guys too. If you are on your own weight loss journey and you have found yourself off track like I have, this can definitely help you figure out how it happened, why it happened, and kind of analyze the whole thing so that maybe going forward you can avoid some of the stuff that helped you get there and keep from doing it in the future. Well, just not as often maybe. That'd be great, right? Also, if you share your weight loss journey on YouTube or TikTok or any social media and you're like me and you're just like, don't know how to start talking about it, or it's like overwhelming, it's like, how do I tell everybody what's going on and I'm getting back on track, and then use this tag. I wish somebody had already made one so I didn't have to create it. I'll have all these questions in the description down below, so feel free to use these questions and make your own videos or TikToks or posts or however you use it in your social media. So this might be kind of a long video. I apologize. Just like put me on in the background while you're doing your chores or something, or drive into work. At the end of me going through these questions, I do plan on doing a weigh-in and letting you guys know where I'm at and any weight and stuff I might have gained over that time being off track. So stay tuned. If while you're watching this video you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you haven't already and you want to subscribe and follow along, be sure and click that subscribe button and that little bell. That lets YouTube know that you want to be notified whenever I post something new. So let's get into these questions. See how I'm like making it about the questions and not about the fact that I've just totally been f***ing up. Question 1 on the Getting Back on Track tag. When did you get off track and for how long? I got off track starting the day before Thanksgiving. So if you don't know, I am currently on a weight loss program I DIY'd for myself that I lovingly call my DIY diet. It's kind of all written out in the description below if you're curious exactly what my plan is. I was on track up until the day before Thanksgiving. I know I wasn't posting much on YouTube or TikTok. I was though on track and I was losing weight. At the end of the video, I'll get into how much weight I had got down to before I went off track, because I was losing weight. There was a couple weeks in there where it was like I was steady or had gained a pound, but mostly I was losing. Going into Thanksgiving, one of the few times in my life I was gonna actually be making a full Thanksgiving dinner, of course, because of the sick. So I knew I was gonna be making lots of good food that I liked. So I'm like, of course, Thanksgiving Day. I am not going to be tracking the food I'm eating. I'm just gonna be, eat whatever I want for Thanksgiving Day. And then I was like, okay, and the day after Thanksgiving, because of leftovers. So I'll do Thanksgiving Day and the day after Thanksgiving, like just not worrying about what I was eating for those 2 days, right? And I was like, oh, see, this is a good plan. When I had made this decision to not track what I was eating, in my mind, I was still gonna be doing my workout every day and drinking my water. And I was like, that's good. See, that's a good compromise. I can eat what I want, but I'm still gonna get all my water in and I'm still gonna exercise. So we're all good, right? Well, since we have some good food in the house now and a little bit of alcohol, how about we just start the day before Thanksgiving, not tracking what you're eating and drinking and all this stuff. And it just kind of spiraled from there. This is so hard to like put into words the things in my brain. And remember, you guys, I said this was going to be a long video. I'm sorry, because I feel like I do need to like explain all the different things that went through my mind. For one, to help you guys understand, and for two, for me to really work through it. So, oh my God, look at her. She is struggling. Okay, what I'm trying so hard to articulate here is this. The diet I DIY'd for myself is based off of building healthy habits. To help me achieve this, I had studied how habits are built in our brains. In that research, I found 2 main factors and created my weight loss program around them. Those are 1, it takes 18 to 254 days to form a habit. But on average, it's about 66 days for that habit to become a new behavior. And 2, it is important to start small. If you start small, it requires less willpower. When I went off track, I figured as long as I kept up with my workouts and drinking my water every day, I could just pick up where I left off. No harm, no foul, as they say. But I didn't, and within a few days, I was just doing nothing. In this next clip, I am referencing the study on habit forming I found online, and I'll have it linked below. Okay, back to the video. Same studies though, they tested out what happens if you're doing something every day to build that habit. What happens if you miss a day? Right? Somebody actually thankfully thought to tell these people to throw that in there in the study. So they did find that if the participants missed one day, if they missed one day and then got back on track the next day, that it did not affect that habit being formed in their brain. So if we're trying to do this for 66 days and then you miss a day, like working out, or for me drinking water, or whatever it is, the habit that you're trying to build, if you miss a day, you can still keep going after that and it's okay. Like your brain's not like, oh, we got to start back over at 0 now. It's not like that, which was like so exciting to hear. That's like one reason why I didn't like keto. It's like if you're in ketosis and then you eat carbs, then it's all over and you have to start over again. So while I was looking into it, I'm like, okay, but they just did one day. Like all I can find in the study was that they had done just one day. They didn't have a participant miss 2 days, 3 days, a week, a vacation, I don't know. So I was like, ah. So I kept looking through the Google search and I actually found one girl, I'm gonna try to link these studies below. This study I'm gonna talk about with this girl, it wasn't like, she didn't do some sort of a scientific study or anything, but I think it was just in her own experience. She found if she went 1 or 2 days missing that habit building, like off track 1 or 2 days, and then got back on track after that, that she was able to keep going with her habit, right? But if she missed 3 days, it was like, oh God, I don't want to do this. It's like everything she had built was like ruined after 3 days. That was just her own personal experience. But she had a good theory on why she thought that was, which was that in America anyway, we have a 5-day work week and then we are off for 2 days. So it's almost like our brains are used to doing something for 5 days and then taking 2 days off and then being able to get back up and then to keep going. What is she doing? That was her theory, is that our brains kind of do that already, that maybe it's used to that. So going into this diet idea way for myself, I always thought to myself, Wren, never go more than 2 days in my drinking my water or my exercise, because I don't want to lose the ground I've gained in forming that habit, that neural pathway in my brain to make, this become a habit for me. I just figured if I just kept going and didn't miss any more than 2 days in my exercise or my drinking my water, that I was gonna be cool. But during this time where I was off track, I did not keep up with that. The more time that passed being off track, the harder it was to do anything good for myself. It just became impossible, just impossible mentally. So hopefully I clipped that down good for you guys, because you have no idea. I've been talking for like 30 minutes on that one question. Ooh. So yeah, Basically, I've been off track for 2 weeks. All right, question 2. When you were following your program, how did you feel? And this is obvious. I mean, this is obvious. This is more of a question to remind yourself of how good you feel when you're following your plan. So yeah, I felt great. It's like also self-care for me. Getting up and taking care of myself, watching what I'm eating and getting exercise in and drinking my water. It's like, I'm like, you know, good job, Wren. Like, you got this, Wren. We gotta take care of me. Let's take care of Wren. You know, mentally, it's just so good for me. Besides all the health benefits of losing weight, right? So I immediately, like day 1, feel amazing just because I am actively taking care of myself. Number 3, how did you feel when you were not on your program? Like shit. Maybe not at first because you're like, oh, this food is so good. This champagne is amazing. I feel warm and fuzzy. First couple days maybe you don't feel so bad, but all of those things just make me feel worse and worse. Eating shitty food makes me feel like shit. Drinking alcohol makes me feel like shit. And then when you feel like shit, you think the alcohol is gonna make you feel better, and it doesn't. It's just it's literally like downward spiral. And it's so bad for my mental health. I feel crappy physically, but like mentally, I feel like shit too. I'm letting myself down. I'm letting a bunch of you guys down. So that like weighs on me. Does not feel good. Question 4, what would you say are the reasons you stopped following your plan? The reason I stopped was because I told myself I wanted to enjoy my Thanksgiving, but that leads into question 5, which is what kept you from getting back on track? Continuing to eat food that is bad for me, on top of continuing to drink alcohol, just led to me feeling more and more like shit. That made it much harder for me to make good decisions for myself, including keeping up with my exercise and my water. Then it just became I'm not doing anything, and now I'm just fully off track. Like I've completely jumped the track. All of those things combined just led me to just be so depressed and stressed and anxious. It wasn't just my food and alcohol intake. It was like now I'm depressed about just life in general right now. My mental health was in such a bad place just because of everything happening in my life right now with the sick and my husband being furloughed, and we don't know what life's gonna look like after all of this, and when is after anyway. Our lives are just completely like, not to mention a bunch of other stuff happening in my personal life I don't really want to get into. It's been really tough, and it's hard when you feel like that, when you are in a bad mental space like that. It's like everything you can do to even like get off the couch, it's hard to make the decision or have the energy to even like think about getting back on track again. So I think that's why it took me so long. I'm finally in just a good enough mental space today to be able to take these steps forward into getting better. Today was day 1 for me back on track. I know getting back on track will take me back to that good place mentally. So that is a step I can take. Even though it was hard, I still have to do it. Like I have to freaking do it. What else am I gonna do? I can't just stay on the couch. You know, I have to like grab my life by the balls. I'll never reach my goals unless I just keep going. Right? So 6, what are the reasons you started your weight loss journey in the first place? Remind yourself of a few of your whys. I have a bunch of like different like broken down specific whys written down somewhere. Basically, it's just to not be held back by my weight anymore. Like from doing anything I want to do or I could do, or things I don't even know I want to do yet, you know, that I'm not going to be able to experience because I am not feeling good in my skin, you know. And I don't want those things to hold me back from doing things with my kids either, or I don't want my weight to hold my kids back from experiencing things that they would be experiencing if I was a more athletic, outdoorsy mom, or just a mom who's not like, you know, afraid of her fitting in places whenever we go somewhere, you know. My weight holds me back in so many ways. To just live an overall healthier, more comfortable and happy life. And my kids are still young. My son is 11 and my daughter is 5, and I've got them in my grasps for just a little bit longer until they grow up and fly the coop, and I can still make changes in their lives. I can still affect how their lives will be in the future, and I don't want them to have to deal with the stuff I've had to deal with, or to feel the things I've had to feel, or be held back the way I have been held back because of my weight. I need to get healthier for them so that they will live happier lives and stuff too when they grow up. This is like a whole other video. My whys, literally, I do plan on making a video to share with you guys and to just record for myself a video on how my weight has held me back, and also slash my whys. Next question, number 7, I believe. What are some changes you can make going forward that may help you stay on track? So there's a couple things I'm gonna do. For one, no alcohol. For me and my journey, definitely not drinking alcohol is gonna be one of the main things that's gonna help me going forward, because if I was just eating bad food, then it would have been probably easier to get back on track. But for me, being able to drink alcohol and not be tracking how many calories is in it and stuff, because I love to drink champagne. I've recently discovered I love like craft beers, and those babies can get up there in calories, right? So just having nights where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna just drink and enjoy myself and not like be counting how many I'm having. And that's more like what I look forward to when I am like off track. That could be the main culprit here for me, because for one, I enjoy it, but in my own journey with alcohol, I'm learning that is not something that's good for me. And then the next thing I want to do is to work out earlier. I'd like to try getting my workout in right in the morning when I wake up, before I even drink my coffee or anything. The way I was doing it before, I was kind of got into this habit. It's crazy because I built a habit with the working out, but it was when I go upstairs and give my daughter her shower, because she'll take a shower in our master bathroom, and then I will just do my little workouts, my little YouTube workout, like right outside of the bathroom. There's no door right here. It's just like the bathroom and then this living area. So I would just set up like my phone and just be exercising like within like 5 feet of her, you know? And that became my habit. So it was basically late at night when I'm getting ready to put her to bed is when I was doing my exercise. But a lot of days it was like, oh, it's the end of the night. I'm so tired. I don't feel like it. And it just made it really hard for me. There was times I was skipping my workouts, or I would just be choosing workouts that weren't very like strenuous. They were just like, oh, let's just get this done. Let's just get some movement in. And I'm not going to be like trying to sweat my ass off, you know? It was just like, let's get it over with. Going forward, I don't want to do that. I want to get up and get it done in the morning, so that way it's done. I'm doing it at a time where I have a little bit more energy in my day. That way I hopefully won't be cutting out too many of the workouts going forward. Another thing I'm gonna be doing, which I kind of started doing towards the end there, is gonna be, doing average weekly weigh-ins. So instead of just weighing in on Monday mornings, that's what I would do at weigh-in Monday morning. I'm gonna be weighing in every day and then tallying out the average for the week, what my weight was. So I would weigh in every day of the week and then add those all up and divide it by 7, and that'll give me an average weight for the week. There's a gal here on YouTube, her name's Sara Wood, I'll tag her here. She commented on my week 2 weigh-in where I had gained weight and I was like bummed about it. She introduced me to the whole idea of the average weigh-in. I had never even heard of this. It makes total sense, but because your weight can fluctuate every day, they say like 2 to 6 pounds, I think. I've had days where it's like, whoa, like the fluctuation was huge. So by doing the average weigh-in thing every week instead of weighing in only one day of the week, you're avoiding those, like, you know, what if last week you weighed in at a time when you were at the lower end of that swing, and then the next week you weigh in and you happen to be at the upper end of that swing? It's gonna look like, I mean, that could be like 6 or 7 pounds. I mean, that can be many, many pounds difference for no reason. And it's not because you gained weight and you did something bad, you know? So I think mentally it's gonna be good for me to be doing the average weekly weigh-in. It's a little hard to get used to because during the week, yeah, you'll have higher ones, but then like sometimes in that week you'll have like those really low end ones, and you want to take that low one and like claim that number, but that's not how it works. You need to do the average and like stick to that. So that's what I'll be doing going forward. I think that's going to help me stay on track, because then I'll hopefully be avoiding those times with those like weigh-ins that are like on the upper end of that scale and I feel like I've messed up, or what could I have done wrong? I'm doing all this hard work for nothing. Those kinds of feelings can lead to falling off track, right? So yeah, so those are some of the changes I'm going to make going forward. Okay, next question. So question 8, what is your plan going forward? So for me, I'm going to keep doing my DIY diet. Now I had just started phase 4 before this whole debacle. I thought about just restarting phase 4, but that would be cheating myself, because it takes an average of 66 days to build the habit, right? If I don't just accept the fact that I screwed up and all of the habit building I did before this is now gone. I can't pretend like it's not. So going forward, being honest with myself, I am going to start on phase 1, day 1 of my DIY diet. Do you know how I know that it's over for me? This round of my DIY diet is over for me is because like I said, I started on phase 4, so it's 25 minutes of exercise. No, girl, I cannot tell you how many days I've tried to get in there and treadmill for 25 minutes. It's like the idea of having to do that was just like, oh, no. Like, I can freaking never, I ain't gonna, like, The motivation it takes and the willpower it takes for me to just step in after a couple weeks of not doing any exercise and then start 25 minutes. It's like, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid, is this feeling right here. This is the feeling I was trying to avoid by creating this plan for myself. So I am happily going to restart phase 1, day 1, and go from there, because phase 1 for me is exercising 10 minutes a day and drinking 64 ounces of water a day. And then with the food, eating around 1,500 calories plus some free foods. I know this is a good decision for me because I can do 10 minutes. I'm back at that spot now where I'm like, I can do 10 minutes. Wren, get up off your ass. It's just 10 minutes. Breaking it down small like that requires this much motivation to get up and do the exercise, whereas 25 minutes requires like this much. I only have this much right now, okay? So that's why I am bringing it down to that small, okay? So I will start with my 10 minutes for phase 1 and move on to the 15 minutes in phase 2. Phase 3 is 20 minutes and all that stuff. Like I said in the description below, it's all broken down. Because remember, the point of this is to break it up into small pieces so that it does not require much willpower or motivation to actually get up and do it. And then as you build your habit, your brain takes over and you don't need that much willpower going forward from there, because now your brain has created this new healthy behavior. This is just something we do now all the time. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I don't look at that as bad. I look at that as I'm so happy that I have this tool that I can use right now. To have to get back on where I had left off, there's no way I would stick with it. There's no way I would maybe do it one day, maybe 2 days, and then I'm just like, F this, like I can't do it. So I'm just so glad that the program I made for myself has made it so even getting back on track is easier, and it meets me where I'm at mentally and willpower-y. You know what I mean? One little tweak I want to make to my plan going forward is, before I was giving myself a cheat meal once a week, but looking back now, I'm seeing how it was like I was forcing that cheat meal on myself, you know, because I'm eating a lot of the food that I love already in my weight loss program. So I don't feel deprived. So when it came time for like a cheat meal, my husband's like, oh, what do you want? I'm like, oh, like pizza. I already had pizza today. I'm like, oh, I know Mexican. Oh, definitely had a lot of Mexican this week. I'm like, girl loves her some Mexican food. Like everything, burgers. Like, oh, I just had burgers yesterday for lunch. Like I'm eating a lot of the food that I love, just healthier versions of it. So I don't feel deprived. And so I just found myself still like going and just like getting something really bad for me that I really kind of didn't really want. So going forward, I'm not going to say, oh, well, just once a week I get a cheat meal. I'm just not going to worry about it. And if I have a day where it's like I really freaking need a cheat meal, then I'll do it. But for me, looking back on it now, before I went off track, out of all those cheat meal days, there was only one day where it's like, oh, I need my cheat meal today. So I'm just gonna feel it out and see. I'm not gonna basically force myself to have a cheat meal if I don't really want one. That sounds so weird, huh? Okay, so last question. Do you have any advice for others who may currently be off track? So yeah, I guess my advice would be, if you were like me, where you're off track and you're just waiting to have this miraculous morning where you wake up and you're feeling perfect energy and everything's great, and you know, like, I would just say don't wait for that day to come, because it's not going to come. Being off track in itself just makes you feel more and more like crap. So that day may never come. You have to just tell yourself you need to get back on track, and it's going to suck probably for a couple days, but then you'll start feeling better and better, and you're going to be so happy that you did it. Like, today's my day 1, And I woke up feeling like, okay, I can do this. And then by lunchtime, I was like, I need a nap and I might not get off this couch all day today. You just have to pick a day and you just have to start. It might take a couple days, but you'll start feeling better and you'll be so happy you did it. And one last thing, I'm going to just read this. I kind of wrote this out as like a little encouragement. I feel like it's just a good reminder to have in there for anybody who's going to do this. Having ups and downs on your weight loss journey is completely normal. The downs are just as much a part of the journey as the ups, okay? Listen, it is almost a guarantee that you will fall off track, but how we get up from that fall is crucial to the success of our journey. So get up, don't give up. You are capable of continuing and reaching your goals. I wrote that to myself, but for you guys too. Okay, so that was like really long and it's not over yet. So that's where I'm at. That's what's happening. That's what's been happening. That's what's going to happen. I am back on track and I'm excited. You know, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself in the last few weeks that will definitely help me going forward. So with all that being said, we still got a weigh-in to do. I'm going to show you my weigh-ins up until I fell off track, and then we're going to do the weigh-in for today, my new restart date. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to catch you guys up on the weigh-ins that I never got around to posting. So my weigh-in for week 3 was 306 pounds. And this is my weigh-in for week 4, also 306 pounds. Now going forward into week 5 is when I started to do my average weight weigh-ins. November 10th, I actually did not do a weigh-in. Day 1, I forget. November 11th, I weighed 308.8. November 12th, 305.2. November 13th, 304. November 14th, 300.8. November 15th, 303.0. November 16th, 304. When you add that all up, it's 1825.8. Then you divide that by 6 since I missed one weigh-in. That's an average of 304.3 for the week. So I missed a couple weigh-ins this week, but here we go. Okay, for week 6, November 17th, I weighed in at 304.8. November 18th, 303.6. November 19th, I missed. November 20th, 304. November 21st, missed again. November 22nd, 300 even. And November 23rd, 299 even. So when you add that all up, it's 1511.4 divided by 5, since I missed 2 days. That comes to an average of, it's actually 302.28, but I'm rounding to the 302.3. Okay, so let's move on to my current weight now for this new start date. And here's my weigh-in. So I weighed in at 307.8 pounds. So that's actually a gain of 5.5 pounds over those 2 weeks. Yeah, so that sucks. But that's okay. We're getting back on track. Let's get into the measurements now. Okay, so going forward, these are my new measurements now. These are my new getting back on track measurements here. So for my arm, I measure my left arm and it is at 14.5 inches. My upper chest, I hate saying upper chest. That feels so weird. I also hate saying armpit, but I measure the top part of my chest there, like right at my armpit line, which is 48 inches. If there's another name for that spot, can you guys let me know in the comments below? Because I don't like armpit or upper chest. Okay, then I also measure like at my bra line, right below my breast, like, you know, like the size of your bra kind of area. And that is 47.5 inches. My waist is just right around the midsection, like right across my belly button. It's 58.5 inches. And then my hips actually measured in the exact same, which I measure right around the biggest part of my butt and then like under my belly. And that came in at 58.5 inches also. I also measure my right thigh, like right in the middle is kind of where I measure, and it came in at 29.75 inches. So those will be my new measurements going forward. So we're at the end of the video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. I'm so excited to finally have this video done and be back on track again and move forward with this journey of mine. So my commitment going forward, just to put it out there, to hold myself accountable, I'm going to be posting every day what I'm eating on TikTok throughout this whole my DIY diet journey. I'm trying to make myself a whole new schedule and routine so I can actually have time devoted to working on that and editing videos and filming videos and stuff like that. So I should be able to stick to this a little bit better now. So I'm committing to the TikToks every day, as well as a weigh-in every week here on this channel. Yeah. Is this the end of the video? I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. If you have made it this far, you are a freaking angel. I love you so much. Thank you for letting me occupy your time. Thanks for following my journey, and thanks for caring and checking in on me. If you are on a weight loss journey yourself, good luck to you. You can do it. We can do it together. Love you guys, and I will see you in the next one next week. I promise. Man, this is a mess. I can feel it. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly organized as long as I'm getting out everything I need to get out.